Hello everyone, my name is Jess McWilliams and I'm with TECTA at ETSU. We are excited to begin a 5-video content series here on campus, and our first content will be on positive attention in the classroom.
All right, so my name is Heather and also a TECTA specialist here at ETSU, and the main content of what we're going to cover over the next 5 videos comes from these 2 books that you see on the screen. The first one is Prevent, Teach, Reinforce for Young Children, and this book is really geared towards helping those children that have extreme challenging behaviors. Most of the content in the book is geared towards those children. However, the authors of this book do identify 5 strategies that are relevant and important for all children in your classroom. And we're going to focus on those 5 strategies in these videos and out in the classroom. And then the second book is Guiding Young Children, A Problem-Solving Approach by Eleanor Reynolds. And this is a fantastic book because it gives us really clear, concrete, practical, and applicable ways to guide the behavior of young children. And we will focus on some of these strategies in the videos, and then we'll also talk about them out in the classrooms and model those things out in the classroom. So these are our 2 main resources. All right, so as we get started with learning how to really be aware of and cognizant of showing children positive attention, what we want to remember is that research has shown that children are better behaved in preschool settings where adults spend more time attending to positive behavior rather than challenging behavior. Well, obviously, right? So all of us, think about yourself in your own life, we tend to respond more positively when people tell us what we're doing well rather than when people are telling us what we're doing poorly or when we've made a bad choice. So when you think about doing this, there are a few things to keep in mind. One being that all educators in the room must contribute. So if Jess and I were teachers in the same classroom and Johnny was one of our children and he oftentimes had some displays and challenging behavior, if Jess were the only one to give him positive attention and I never did, if I continued to be the one to redirect him, tell him what he's doing wrong, get frustrated with him, if I continued to be that negative person but she were the one showing positive attention, it's not going to work, right? So we both have to be doing it. Everybody has to be doing it. We also want to determine a goal. So we're going to read an example in just a minute where some educators had a very specific goal when it came to this. So you'll determine what that means for you in your classroom, for all children and or for individual children. So one of the great things that you're going to find is that you're going to realize that you feel more positive about yourself and the children in the classroom once you start doing this. So it's just kind of, once you're positive, everybody else is going to be positive. It's just going to exude positivity. And then you may realize that also the other children in the classroom are going to begin to do the same thing. They're going to be more positive. They're going to tell each other what they're doing well, and they're going to do what you do. Because, as in everything, you're the model. Okay, so Jess is going to talk about an example from the book, Prevent, Teach, Reinforce, and reflect on that a bit with you.
Okay, so this example from the PTR for Young Children textbook says this. In Miss Atkins' class, Rebecca was known for spitting from 5 to 10 times per day. This behavior was disruptive and disturbing to staff, children, and parents. Miss Atkins and her team were also aware that they spent the majority of their time with Rebecca dealing with the aftermath of her spitting. As one of the classroom assistants said, "I guess I can't really recall the last time I said something to Rebecca about what she was doing well." Realizing that the team needed to do a 180-degree turn regarding the positive to negative ratio with Rebecca, they decided to give themselves a goal and constant reminder. Their goal was for the team to catch Rebecca appropriately behaving 30 times during the 3-hour preschool day. The 3 team members each wore a carpenter's apron with 10 poker chips placed in one side pocket of the apron, and they moved a chip to the other pocket each time they made a positive comment to Rebecca about her appropriate behavior. So one thing that I love about this practical example of the 5-to-1 ratio of positive attention is that educators take responsibility and their own accountability. In doing so, the educators determine a goal and devise a plan on how they can keep track of their progress towards this goal for this child in their classroom. And on top of that, their goal was reachable. The educators worked together then to help this child feel validated and empowered, all by being proactive and using this 5-to-1 positive attention approach. Next, then, we might ask, how? How can we put this 5-to-1 positive attention ratio into practice in our own individual classrooms with individual children's needs, with different teacher-type personalities? How can we work together and build a community of people who are set towards one goal and helping put this 5-to-1 practice, 5-to-1 ratio into practice in our classrooms?
All right, so in the book that we saw on the second screen, Eleanor Reynolds identifies 5 tools for affirming children, because you may say, oh my gosh, all day long I'm just going to be saying, good job, good job, good job, just trying to get this positive attention going. Well, that's not what we want you to do. We want you to think about specifically how you're going to do this. So we're going to show you 5 different ways to affirm children, and these are the things that we really want you to start practicing each day in your classroom. You could think about 1 a day or whatever is doable for you, but we'll share these 5 tools for affirming children with you.
So the first tool that you could use is called narrating. So narrating in put into practice in the classroom is a way of putting into words what you see is happening when you find an activity that is noteworthy or important. So an example of that might be, you went across the monkey bars by yourself. So you are narrating what you are seeing that child doing in day-to-day type situations. A different one might be, you picked up the toys and put them in the correct box. So you are narrating and giving language also, and extending that child's language, and promoting positive attention towards the activity that they are doing.
All right, so this one in narrating, you notice there's no judgment in there. It's exactly what the child did. Another thing that we can use is a positive I message. An I message has 3 parts. One part being how you feel, the second part being what was happening, and the third part being why you feel that way. So, for example, I'm proud you made room for Ollie on the carpet when he asked you. It shows me you are helping others. So, what I'm feeling is proud. An I message is exactly what it sounds like. It always starts with I. So, my feeling is proud. What happened was that he made room for Ollie. And why does that make me proud? Because it shows me he's learning to help others.
Another tool that you could use would be using rituals. So as we know, rituals are important in working with young children, and there's something that a child can count on, such as birthday celebrations, or a hello, good morning song, or a goodbye song, just the things that happen throughout your day that a child comes to know as part of their day each and every day. It's always going to be there. So again, an example of that might be a morning greeting that you do with each individual child each and every day they come into your classroom. Or maybe at lunchtime you do a certain ritual right before you eat lunch. It's something that the child comes to rely on and to depend on as part of their day to help affirm their positive behavior.
Okay, and noticing. This one gets tough for people because, again, there's no judgment here. This is simply noticing a child for his or her existence. You have rainbows on your shirt today, so I'm sure all of you have stories where I might say to Jess, "Oh, I love your necklace." And then guess what? 5 other children come up to you and say, "Do you love my shirt? Do you love my shoes? Do you love blah, 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 the bow in my hair?" Well, it's not about whether you love it. It's just about acknowledging existence. That, oh, I see you're here today. Just noticing. This can also happen without words. So nonverbal noticing can be a hug, just a smile, acknowledging with eye contact, a high five. Noticing really helps children also be aware of just who they are and that they don't have to be compared to the person beside of them, but I'm going to notice you for who you are just the same as I'm going to notice the person beside of you.
Okay, and then finally our 5th tool would be using reinforcement. So reinforcement is a positive behavior that is affirmed verbally. So you might immediately comment after you see a child perform an action, and the child then feels instant approval from you. So one example of that might be, "I see you washed your hands after using the Play-Doh." So you are reinforcing their behavior, and they are automatically and instantly feeling affirmation and instant approval from you for that action.
All right, so again, we want you to start practicing these things. You have huge, busy jobs, so it may be easier for you to just pick one, like narrating, and focus on that all day. Just have in your mind, I'm going to use narrating today, because it's going to be overwhelming for you to think about doing all in the same day when it's not what you have typically done.
So we'd like to offer you some additional resources as you begin to put this 5-to-1 positive attention ratio into practice. Oftentimes we can get hung up on using the same phrases over and over again, and then those phrases often become tuned out in the children with whom we care for. So one resource we would like to provide for you is from the NAOIC website. So this particular article gives alternatives for the terms "good job." It talks about about paying attention to detail with the children and giving nonverbal feedback with them. Another resource that you might look into using is the CEFL Sentence Starters. So this website provides you with some simple ideas on structuring positive sentences when you notice and acknowledge children's positive behavior in their classrooms.
All right, so as with anything, guess what? Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So for some, it may mean really thinking about what you're saying differently because you've been saying the same things for maybe 10, 15, 20, 25 years. So I want you to really start practicing using these strategies so that it becomes permanent and so that we're doing it right, what's right for children. And this positive attention will positively guide and influence children's behavior. All right, we can't wait to see what you do in the classroom.
Have fun!
Okay.